What's up, all you YouTubers, gamers, and all you roughnecks out there? It's your boy DL Rico. I know it's Wednesday. I was actually supposed to put this video up yesterday, but man, I'm telling you, work these past what was it 4 or 5 days has just been really draining. And practically as soon as I get home, I hit the bed and just kind of I hit my couch first and just kind of take a load off of my feet, take my shoes off, and then I start the process of winding down by changing or whatnot. And as soon as I get to my room and I just kind of settle down on my bed and lay there for a second, I am totally out like a light. It is insane, like how exhausted my body is after whatever, how many hours of work. But anyway, I'm gonna get to the topic that I wanted to. We're gonna just kind of play it as if yesterday never happened, and we're gonna go ahead with the Tactical Tuesday episode. Now, as always with Tactical Tuesday, we always talk about our tactics, whether it be the gameplay and our tactics as far as to reach the objective and win, or tactics in life, whether it be about relationships, work, or family. So today I wanted to talk about intuition and just kind of the feeling you get when it comes to the opposite sex when you're dating, and you get that there's just that feeling that nags away at you that they could possibly be into somebody else, and in some cases cheating on you. Now I know this is kind of a rough subject to talk about, and I you know what, I want to give the benefit of the doubt to all my exes out there and say that I have never been cheated on. There have been a couple of people or a couple of girlfriends that I've had that we were together, and then things just didn't work out, but then like maybe within a week they're with somebody else. Now my standing when it comes to relationships, when people seem to move on that quickly, the reason is they've already moved on long before that, and I'm talking about an emotional aspect of it. If somebody's willing to be with somebody else after that short amount of time, it's because their heart and their mind were not into it towards the end of that, and they were already looking to move on to that next part in their relationship career, so to speak. So anyway, let's get about to the tactic and how to deal with that feeling that we get when we are being either cheated on, or we have that feeling that just something's a little bit off, and we get to a point where we want to investigate. The biggest thing, or the best thing that you can do, as far as the best tactic to go about it, is just communication. If communication is solid, if communication is open and honest, and at a point where it just doesn't leave you with any doubt in your mind that this is how we feel about each other and this is how we're going to take things in our relationship, as long as it's there, you don't have to worry about, where their thoughts might stray, why they haven't called you at this certain time like they usually have, and all these other aspects that might kind of trigger a red flag within you. Um, that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is communication. If you want to fix something within the relationship, you gotta address it right away, and you gotta go straight to the source. You can't be. There's a lot of people that tend to rely on their friends almost absent-mindedly, and the only thing your friend is gonna do is just kind of detour your mind away, and more than likely in the wrong way, because they're going to keep feeding you what your intuition is already telling you. Some of them will build up your hope and just be kind of like, oh, that'll never happen. He seems like a sweet guy. I don't think he could be capable of, or he or she could be capable of cheating or whatever, and being that kind of person. Um, so you could leave a false sense of hope. On the other hand, it could be that they're just bad mouthing this person, not even knowing the situation, and just kind of lead to a kind of a, not a hypothesis, but lead to a final a conclusion that's probably shouldn't have been even thought of in the first place. So again, the best tactic is to communicate. Just go straight to the source and say tell them what you're feeling. Tell them that you think something's off. Tell them that something's been lacking, maybe. Whatever the case may be, just communicate. The second tactic would be definitely trust your instincts. Love, as I have found it over my over the course of my years, love has a rhythm. There's a rhythm with communication. There's a rhythm with when you're physically together. There's a rhythm with just everything that goes on between two people. And when that rhythm is off, it definitely sends one of those signals. When you're used to getting calls during their lunch and break periods, when you're used to having them text, the last thing before they go to bed, if they keep doing it consistently, you're going to get acclimated to that rhythm. So when the rhythm is thrown off, you're thrown off, and your whole sense of, I want to say, direction within this relationship pursuit is just kind of thrown off balance a little bit. So address those rhythm problems. Again, this is all with the base that communication is the most important, but look to that rhythm. And if the rhythm is off, do your best to fix it. If the rhythm is off more consistently, or not consistently, but more than a few times, if you find that the phone calls are kind of getting shorter and shorter, or that the phone calls are becoming more and more non-existent, that might be a little bit of a red flag. Um, I've always had this firm belief that whenever the phone calls and the communication goes astray, it only means that the attention's going somewhere else. If you feel like you're being, the attention that you're used to getting is not where it needs to be, it's usually probably because it's straying somewhere else. And again, go with those intuitions, but only if the intuition is on one of those kind of levels where it just seems to be a repetitive pattern. Things get good, things get going for a little bit, and then all of a sudden they start acting funny. The phone calls get scarce, and you're just kind of left wondering over and over, and they just keep coming back with that same kind of line. No, I'm sorry, I've just been busy, kind of thing. Rely on that intuition to kind of feed your knowledge of the situation, and be reminded of what happened in before, because odds are they're just using that kind of trust to their advantage. Let's see. The final tactic I would say is it's not. I want to say, I don't know how to say this without sounding mean, but it's not psychotic. It's not crazy. If you want to physically check up on somebody, people call it stalking. People call it whatever. You can call it whatever you like, but when you have, this much or so much invested in a person, and you have all these things that you kind of rely on them for, especially from an emotional kind of standpoint, and again, you've invested that emotion within them, you don't want to just roll off of a hunch. You definitely want to get some confirmation before you finally say, I knew it, or, I've had this feeling, and, I should have addressed it. Whatever it is, investigate it, and just kind of, I want to say be discreet about it, but at the same time, just, if you're driven to that point, that's probably a red flag in itself. If you feel like you have to stalk around and kind of see what kind of secrets they've been hiding from you, and follow them to work or follow them home or something, that is definitely something that's not healthy for you to experience, and not something for they should be putting you through. So if it gets to that point, your intuition should be telling you to just kind of let it go, and kind of take a different path, try something else, and just save yourself, kind of thing. Man, yeah, I'm sorry. It's kind of hitting home, because I've seen a lot of friends go through things, and it's never easy seeing somebody that you care about going through a situation such as this, and trying to do whatever you can to help them, but at the same time knowing that there's so much red tape or red flags around it, that unless they discover the truth, and you know that they're the kind of person that unless they see the truth for themselves, they're just not going to believe it. And you hate to have your friend go through that kind of pain, and witness and confirm whatever they feared to be true. So But yeah, that's pretty much all I have. So again, it all chalks up to communication, just making sure you're open and honest with each other, make sure you're on the same page. Um, Investigate if at all necessary, if you feel it needs to come to that. But for the most part, rely on your intuition and rely on yourself to make the better judgment. And when in doubt, ask your parents. I don't know. You can ask me if you like, but I'm probably just gonna tell you the same thing. But anyway, as you can see, it was a pretty slow match. Not a whole lot of action going on. A lot of people can't. There's a lot of campering going on in these big maps. But anyway, leave a thumbs up if you like to, subscribe if you're new to my channel, and we'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Would you like to know more?